In New Jersey tonight, a teenager who doesn't even have a driver's license is facing serious charges after law enforcement sources say he led police on a high-speed chase before crashing into another car, killing two innocent people.
And you hear high speed. We're told speeds reached up to 118 miles per hour. This was in Toms River.
You know, when I was a young man, a teen, if you will, my mother was actually quite skeptical of me getting my driver's license because she believed that I, like the people we are featuring in this story, would use that opportunity to drive really fast, drive really dangerously, and that could lead to myself getting hurt or killed, or somebody else getting hurt or killed. Now, of course, this was a ridiculous proposition for a number of reasons. First and foremost, my mother drove a mom SUV. The idea that I was going to be drag racing Fast and Furious style in said SUV was a bit absurd, was a bit ridiculous in my opinion, but in addition to that, when I actually got my license, I proved the falseness of this because the only place I really wanted to go was to the grocery store because I like to cook, so I wanted to get the stuff that I wanted in order to cook. So in reality, what actually was my plot, my sinister motivation in order to be able to pilot a vehicle was that I would take over the whole entire food production of my household, thus making me the king within said household without anybody being the wiser. And by the way, this is 100% true. I'm not even joking about that. That was my goal as a teenager because I never really bought into the idea that pressing hard on the accelerator, pressing hard on the gas pedal was somehow this unique talent, this unique ability that nobody else can do. Now, there are many people who have said that they are in the car with me and I may drive a little fast here and there, I might shift lanes a little quickly and whatnot, and that is neither here nor there in terms of this conversation, or as the professionals like to say, neither nya nor nya, because in reality, I'm not into the racing, I hate the racers, and part of me, just a little bit, just a little microsecond, every time I see them racing on the highway, wishes them some ill fate. However, in this particular video, we have something much more serious, because we had teenagers without licenses behind the wheel of a car leading police on a high-speed chase that apparently hit as high as 118 miles an hour, and of course, tragedy ended up striking when they ended up hitting another vehicle, killing two occupants in said vehicle. Again, dumb, horrible, stupid activity that of course was live streamed on the internet.com, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Here at the scene of Friday night's crash, mourners are leaving stuffed animals and flowers for the two young people killed here by a teenager driving a BMW close to 120 miles an hour, according to police.
We wanted to stop here and we wanted to pay our respects because two people died here. And it's sad.
Police sources say the teenage driver responsible for the deaths live streamed his chase away from police in Ocean County.
So yeah, as you can see right here, we have two individuals that are paying their respects to the people who were killed in this particular car accident, and then we cut to the live stream, we cut to the absolute stupidity low IQ challenge of flooring it in a BMW when you're racing away from the police, because you gotta get away, you gotta have fun on the stream, it's all entertainment, it's all fun and games, of course, until somebody gets hurt, and in this particular case, two people were killed, and again, I will just point out, this is terribly stupid behavior. If you're a teenager and you think this is fun, you get enjoyment out of it, you're not cool, you're not smart, you're an absolute buffoon, you are risking the lives of other people, and this ended up resulting in one of the worst results. Two people are dead because these kids wanted to have a fun live stream, and two people have been passed away because these kids wanted to make a video to impress the other kids. And by the way, we've seen stories like this before, where people are trying to film themselves going 100 miles an hour on a residential street, they end up hitting the curb, and usually it's the passenger ends up getting seriously injured, crippled, a paraplegic, all based on what? This kind of crappy entertainment?
You heard correctly. The passengers in the speeding car telling the driver to floor it.
We are angry. Nobody taught them how to respect laws or to respect innocent people.
Around 10:45 Friday, police say the white BMW was speeding east over the Thomas Mathis Bridge, then north and again south on Route 35 through Seaside Heights, before heading west on Route 37 over the Stanley Tunney Bridge. When police called off their chase due to safety concerns, the passengers yell over the roar of the sports car's engine.
Now, this is one of the things that really pisses me off about this story that goes beyond stupid teens doing something for a live stream, and that, of course, is stupid government policy. So, in the state of New Jersey, like many states post-George Floyd, post-Black Lives Matter, they decided that they were going to pass into law restrictions onto police officers, and sometimes it's just a change in the procedure, where if somebody's driving too crazy, if somebody's getting a little bit too dangerous, then the police will back off for the safety of the other people. Well, guess what? That didn't really work out right here in this situation. That didn't really do anything to ameliorate the consequences of this, and I think it would have been more apt if you threw down the spike strips, if you actually did a pit maneuver, or something to stop these people in the vehicle, because you allowed them to go without police pursuit, because it would be too dangerous in order for you to chase them. And what ended up happening? What was the result of this? 2 people died from this. It's absurd. It's ridiculous that we don't actually engage these people in the pursuit. And I understand in certain environments, maybe a school environment, you might want to incentivize people to slow down. But the reality of this policy is that when you incentivize people to drive crazy in order to get away, you're going to get more crazy driving because people want to get away. And teenagers that don't have the foresight, that don't think about their actions beyond, again, what would make a cool live stream video, they're going to do that even more. And what was the result of this? Again, 2 people are dead, 2 people died, and the police pulled off of this chase because they thought it would be too dangerous to go after them. And guess what? It was more dangerous to not go after them.
It's just straight. He turned it off!
Moments after this video was taken, police say the teenage driver crashed into a Toyota Camry carrying 4 young people in Toms River at the intersection of Routes 37 and 166. The driver and front passenger were killed. The 2 people in the back seat critically injured.
Yeah, you guys heard that right. So right after the police disengaged the pursuit, because again, they're worried about safety, they turn off their lights. These guys start celebrating on the video. They're having a great time. They're enjoying themselves. And what ends up occurring? Shortly after, they barrel into an intersection. A group of 4 people, possibly a family, is in a Toyota, and they end up getting hit by this vehicle. 2 people are killed, 1 person, or actually 2 people are critically injured because it's a total of 4. And this is because these people had no warning that this car was coming. And by the way, one of the things that warns not only the people that you're chasing them, but the surrounding vehicles are the sirens, are the sounds, are the colors. That keeps people alert and helps them avoid danger. But instead, these people were driving perfectly normally. They were driving as if there was no obstruction, no police chase, no nothing. And what was the result of that? They ended up getting hit and 2 of them ended up dying. Again, when you incentivize bad behavior, when you incentivize this style of running away from the police, you get more bad behavior. You get more crazy driving. There's a reason why more and more deaths have occurred via traffic incidents as we pulled back law enforcement in terms of traffic. And believe me, I'm somebody who's not a fan at all whatsoever of getting tickets, of any of these ticky-tack violations. I think in a lot of places, the speed limit is set far too low. But in this particular instance, the idea that you're not going to pursue a dangerous vehicle, the idea that you're not going to throw the spike strips, that you're not going to block it off, that you're not going to get the helicopter, that you're not going to do all the things that we know that the police can do in order to stop these vehicles is absurd. Again, these teenagers, to have fun, ended up killing 2 people and critically injuring 2 more, and the police disengaged for safety just before it happened.
Poor innocent people just going home, whatever, and, they're dead because of some ignorant kid.
So 2 things. 1, this woman is perfectly right. Everything she said is correct, and there should be no reason at all whatsoever that I extend my commentary beyond this point. However, the second thing that I also want to take note of, as somebody who wears glasses, as a spectacle wearer myself, is that her particular glasses magnify the size of her eyes to a ridiculous proportion, and I just cannot not comment on that. I apologize to her. I apologize to all of you out there in the audience for this distraction. Shame on me for doing this. Shame on y'all, as the super mayor would say, for enjoying that.
Shame on y'all!
And let us move on to the rest of this particular story.
The BMW driver was not injured and was arrested at the scene. He's underage and doesn't even have a driver's license.
Now look, I want to make something 100% clear to all of you guys out there in the audience. I do not root for people to be injured. I do not root for them to be hurt. I don't root for some kind of karmic justice that ends up impacting their lives physically for years and years to come. But there is something purely awful, something purely terrible about the 4 people who were just innocently driving, who had no idea that this guy was barreling into them at 118 miles an hour, suffering 2 casualties and 2 critical injuries, while this man was able to walk away from the scene. And I say man, but let us be clear about this. He is underage. He is not even somebody who has a license. He may be under the age where you can get a license in the state of New Jersey, and he was able to walk away scot-free.
The driver of the BMW did have blood drawn. Police have not released the results of that test.
And to make matters worse, in addition to his crazy driving, the police are also suspecting that maybe, just maybe, he was under the influence of something, as indicated by the blood draw that they did, that of course they're not going to release the results of because he is an underage teenager.
He's charged with a juvenile with a host of crimes, including aggravated manslaughter and death by auto. No identities have been released as of now of the victims, but we do understand that they are both in their 20s and lived locally.
So first of all, I'm not interested at all whatsoever in trying these individuals as a juvenile. Jack those charges up to adult charges. Let us see them face the real consequences of their actions. And again, we have young people that were the driver and the passenger in their 20s, with 2 people that were also young in the back. It sounds like a family. It sounds like a family of 4. And those kids, very likely, if they are the children of those 2 people in the front, lost their parents in this particular incident. And by the way, they were locals. Again, just driving normally, trying to go to and from somewhere in and around their area. And they ended up getting killed by these individuals post the police terminating a pursuit because this policy is absurd. And by the way, if there is greater risk to the driver driving crazy, that you do the pit maneuver and they end up getting hurt, you do the stop sticks and they end up getting hurt, I'm willing to take on that risk, because the alternative, you incentivizing this kind of behavior, is not acceptable for me. Those 2 people should be alive. The 2 people in the backseat of that car should not be critically injured. And the idea that you could just be driving along perfectly normally, the police terminated the sirens a little while before, so you can't even hear, and without warning, you get taken out by these absolute scumbag teenagers trying to live stream. Not about it in any way, shape, or form. But again, those are just my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about a teenager killing 2 individuals for a live stream. Till next time.